The start of this time comes from the Pike Street Cafe at the Seattle Sheraton. Thomas Kovacs prepares a croustillant of Dungeness crab. Note that he coats the crab with broken pasta. Then an entree is offered by Bradley Ogden in San Francisco. It is leg of lamb featuring a barbecue sauce that contains chipotle peppers and is a glaze for the lamb. The dessert is prepared in Orlando, Florida by Darryl Mickler. It is a Calvados souffle with cider Sabayon. Note the use of a hollowed-out apple as a container. Thomas Kovacs was born in what was Yugoslavia, and through his long career has worked seemingly everywhere. Suffice it to say he can speak Hungarian, German, English, Spanish, beginner Japanese, and some Russian. He sticks to English with his croustillant of crab served with a marionberry chutney.
The first dish what I'm going to do is the croustillant of Dungeness crab meat with marionberry. Marionberry is a local berry. What's in is a very it looks like a boysenberry or a blackberry, very close to it, but much lighter color. Take the lamb crab meat and mix it up with warmed up goat cheese. I'm going to add a little bit of chopped fennel leaves, a few drops of Tabasco. Just mix it up lightly so you see the cheese evenly divided in with the crab meat. Okay, this is done. Then I take a very thin vermicelli or capellini and break it up in little pieces. You can do it with your hand. This is going to give the crust to the crab meat. Okay. I'm going to form 4 small balls. But equal to 3 ounces each. Then I roll it into the vermicelli. I take a skillet and put them on a skillet. Spoon a little bit of melted butter over them. And we put it in the oven.
400 degrees until the balls are light brown. Now the chef prepares a chutney.
Gonna take a few 3 spoons of peanut oil, which is it's a high resistance oil. Put some mustard seed and caraway seed on it, and put it on a hot stove, and wait until the seed starts to pop. In a few seconds it's going to be ready. Then we take it off, otherwise it's going to all pop out. Add a little bit of turmeric. And fold in 1.5 cup of Marion berries. Add a little bit of salt. Pepper. Put it on a side. To finish the dish, I saute some fresh fennel.
These are fresh fennel leaves. Then the liqueur Pernod is also added.
Put a little bit of Pernod. Excuse me.
Sir.
Put the crab meat in the middle. Put some salmon caviar in it. And finish it with the fennel.
When Bradley Ogden went to work at the American restaurant in Kansas City, he began an intense identification with American cooking that has held through several restaurants in San Francisco, including the Lark Creek Cafe in the Bay Area. He shows this with barbecued leg of lamb. Lamb pieces are marinated, started by rubbing crushed garlic onto them.
And then take a little Dijon mustard and about 2 tablespoons and just rub that into the, adds a really great flavor to it. Put that into it. And then just take a few fresh thyme leaves, about 6 fresh thyme leaves, and a little bit of olive oil just to lightly coat it. And let that marinate for 5 or 6 hours or overnight.
The marinated meat is seasoned with salt and pepper.
Now this will take probably about 15 minutes or so. And then we'll just add a little olive oil to it, and we'll baste this occasionally with our chipotle barbecue glaze. And then start it skin side down on your grill. Next step is to make our chipotle barbecue glaze. And really a quite simple recipe. It'll take 15 to 20 minutes on the stove. We're going to add our chili sauce, which is 1.5 cups. Molasses, 1/4 cup of molasses. We're going to add 1/4 of a cup of water. One tablespoon soy sauce. A tablespoon of brown sugar. 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. 2 cloves mashed, chopped fine, of garlic. 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. A teaspoon of Tabasco. A teaspoon of Worcestershire. A teaspoon of chili flakes.
Red and green jalapeno and poblano peppers are also added.
Doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to end up straining the sauce. They may want a little bit hotter, but I think that you'll find this is plenty hot. And the best part of this glaze is the chipotle, which is a dried smoked jalapeno. And we're just going to, these are very hot, and you gotta be very careful not to use too much, but we'll just add 1 small, and this is a can. You can get them dried, and but this is a can in adobe sauce. Okay, we'll just stir this all in, and then we'll let this simmer for about 15 minutes, and then we'll strain it out. Again, just baste the butterfly leg of lamb during 3 or 4 times during its cooking time. I'm going to just turn that over and baste the other side just a little bit.
Corn cakes are started with creamed corn, milk, minced jalapenos, salt, and pepper.
Okay, now we want to add a 1/2 cup of yellow cornmeal to this slowly. Just stir it in until it's evenly dissolved. And then our 1/2 cup of buttermilk.
After the mixture has thickened, it's taken off heat and a yolk is added.
And then stir in the egg yolk. Add 1/4 of a cup of chopped scallions.
1 egg white is whipped to soft peaks and incorporated. The corn cakes are cooked in butter until golden.
And this griddle is about 350 degrees.
The lamb and corn cakes are served with mixed greens, dressed in olive oil and balsamic vinegar.
Our goat feta, and we'll just sprinkle that over the top of the salad. And sprinkle some of the onions on top as well. And then an extra little treat, we have some arugula flowers, which are edible, and then some borage flowers here, which are also edible. So we're going to take our lamb, then we'll slice it against the grain.
Let the lamb rest before carving.
Again, I like it a little bit on the rare side. And this was about, this cooked for about 12 to 15, about 15 minutes. And again, you want to let it sit when it comes off the grill for a few minutes. So it's beautiful, nice and juicy. And then we'll just put a couple slices here with the salad. And then we'll brush that with a little bit of the chipotle glaze. Griddled corn cakes. Now, one more dimension. This, if you happen to have these wild garlic around, especially in the springtime, and we'll just garnish it with a little spring onion as well. Enjoy.
Now from Disney World in Orlando, pastry chef Darryl Mickler takes the stage. He learned Southern cooking tradition from his grandmother and had blossomed into both academic and practical training in several Southern Florida restaurants. Here is his Calvados souffle with cider Sabayon.
What we do to begin with, we'll slice off the top third of this apple, as well as the base. Brush it lightly with a little lemon juice to prevent browning. Okay? And then from here, we'll gradually take scoops of the apple flesh, leaving about a 1/4-inch wall of apple so that we have some support when we actually go to base this. You can use pretty well whatever variety of scoop that you have available. I'm using a larger scoop to take it out, and then I'll take another apple and peel it and make small balls for our garnish.
A predominant flavor with this dish is Calvados. Using 2 pans, equal amounts of butter and sugar are melted in each.
Okay, now we'll add some of our apples here into our saute pan. Just allow those to cook real nice, let them start browning. Here, in our second saute pan, add just a dash of Calvados and let that flame off. Calvados is a French apple brandy. If you can't obtain that, a good choice as far as a domestic product would be Applejack. And to experiment with, you can do it after you've made it. You might want to experiment with flavors, adding a little bit of orange, Grand Marnier, something along those lines. Take our pastry brush and lightly brush the inside of the apple. This will further prevent it from browning, and it's also going to add a nice bit of flavor along the outside, forming a light sugar crust and highlighting that Calvados and apple that we're looking for.
A Sabayon is started by beating egg yolks and sugar.
At this point, we'll add in our apple juice, or apple cider rather, and just a little bit of Calvados and start to whisk that in. This will start to incorporate nicely.
Then the mixture goes over not quite boiling water and is whisked until light and fairly thick. Then it's taken off heat and cooled before presentation. The souffle mixture also starts by whisking egg yolks and sugar together.
While I'm doing this, my student here, Bill, has been whipping together the egg whites. The 4 egg whites have been mixed together, whipped together. We've added sugar to them also after they reach the light peak stage. The light peak will show when you can basically lift the whip out, and it'll form a peak at the tip that'll start to bend as it's held upright. Now we reach this point, we'll again add in a tablespoon of Calvados. And now that that's been nicely incorporated, take my egg whites. Taking the egg whites, we'll take a small amount and briskly whisk that in. Taking approximately 1/4 of the egg whites. Once this has been nicely incorporated, we gently take the remainder and we'll begin to fold this in, taking care not to break up these nice mounds, to make sure that we get all that air that's been incorporated will remain with us and ensure a successful souffle. Very gently folding in the egg whites into our egg yolk base. Take our apple base that we've utilized previously and add in that souffle mixture. Okay. Just shake it here and there to make sure that the souffle mixture goes all the way down. And lightly round the tops, which will help ensure a nice, attractive shape when it comes out of the oven.
Bake at 350 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. For presentation, a plate is mirrored with the Sabayon sauce and the sautéed apple balls, and small scoops of apple sorbet are placed on the plate. Then the souffle is placed in the center, garnished with candied orange rind and finished with powdered sugar.